Welcome back. In this video we're going to have a look at some more cases of how we can multiply algebraic factors together. Now looking at example 1, we have x times y times z. So we've got three different variables and we want to multiply them all together. Now the way in which we can do this is we can simply remove all of the multiplication symbols and bunch them one by one. So x times y times z can be rewritten as xyz. Or we can go yz or yxz. We can go yzx. We can go zx, y. The order is not important because we're always going to get to the same value when we multiply them together. So the order is not important. Typically, by convention, a lot of people, they like to rearrange their variables in terms of where they come in the alphabet. Hence the reason this first one is typically probably the most common way you'd see this arranged, but the three other examples, they're totally fine as well. Example 8, we have 2x multiplied by 3y multiplied by 4x. What we want to do is see what happens when we multiply these together. Now in the previous video I showed you where you get all of the coefficients and you put them in a bracket together and you multiply all of these coefficients together. Then secondly you get all of your variables and you multiply them together like so. Now for the first part, the coefficients, 2 times 3 is 6 and 6 times 4 is 24. And then for the second part we're going to get x, y, x. Now here's where we can simplify things a bit better. We've got the variable x here and the variable x here, and we've got a variable y here. What we can do is we can put the two x's together. So we're going to bring them together by adding their powers. So it'll become 24x. Then we've got this implied power of 1, like so. So implied power of 1. Hence, we're going to get 24x, 1 plus 1 multiplied by y. Therefore we get x squared y. Again, you can switch the x squared and the y around, so you could have 24y x squared, or you can leave it as 24x squared y. Once again, I prefer to leave it with the x first because it comes first in the alphabet. This makes it a little bit easier to read. Okay, example 9. We're dealing with 5a squared times 3b to the negative 2 times 6a to the negative 3 times half b to the negative 4. What we're going to do is we're going to round up all of the coefficients and then round up all of the variables. So we get 5 times 3 times 6 times a half, and that's multiplied by a squared times b to the negative 2 times a to the negative 3 times b to the negative, or b to the 4. Simplifying these coefficients, we can go 5 times 6 is 30, multiplied by 3 times a half. Well, that's, we'll just leave that as is. Then we've got a squared, and we'll mix the two a's together. So a squared times a to the 3. Then we'll go b to the negative 2 times b to the 4. Alright. Now, 30 times 3, well 3 times 3 is 9, so 30 times 3 must be 90, multiplied by the half. Then we've got a 2 plus minus 3 times b negative 2 plus 4. So we're adding the powers together. 90 times a half, well that's half of 90, so that's 45. Then we're going to have a 2 plus minus 3 is minus 1 times b, or to the power of negative 2 plus 4, that's positive 2. So therefore our final result is 45a to the negative 1b squared, like so. So lesson from this example is when you're dealing with lots of coefficients, either throw them all in the calculator or break it down by piecework. Example 10, we have r times pi times r times h plus 2 times pi or 2 pi times r. So quite a simple one here. All we need to do is we need to get rid of the times to begin with. So r pi r h plus 2 pi r. Then we're going to deal with these two r's here. So that's going to become r squared pi h plus 2 pi r. And then you might see this as a pretty famous formula. So pi r squared or pi r squared h, that's the volume of a cylinder, plus 2 pi r, which is the circumference of a circle, and that's as far as we can take it.